Hey guys, good morning. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Reimagine Education Conference and our show we bring here live with you each weekday. I could just not be more excited to have a return guest with us, Alicia Schoolman. Alicia, welcome to the show this morning.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here again.
It is so great to have you. So for those of you who have seen the show before, Alicia is just a wealth of knowledge and she has become just a friend of the show. And we're so excited that she is now going to be a part of our conference and bringing tons of resources for so many people. And when we were talking last time, we started covering we just dove deep into techniques and stress and management and all these kind of things. And we started talking about sleep patterns and we ran out of time. Actually, we just ran out of time. There were so many things we could talk about. We said, we have got to come back again. And so that's what we're doing today. But before we dive too deep, for those of you who have not met Alicia yet, Alicia is the founder of Struggles to Triumph, and she has her own business. You do functional medicine and wellness and stress coaching, but instead of me doing your whole bio, because I always think it's better for people to really talk from the heart and just share their joy. Why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about yourself before we dive in today into sleep.
So I'm a mom of two children and absolutely adore them. But I know well the struggles with parenting and schooling. We did a combination of public school and homeschooling for my children. And they were both very different children, right? All our children are very unique and different, and just meeting their needs was a challenge because they both were so different. And anyway, I've had my children and I, we've been through a lot of really severe health struggles, but also life struggles. And that's where my name came from, Struggles to Triumph's Health and Wellness Coaching. I'm here to support families, teens, teachers, parents, whatever their struggle is in life. And sometimes those are health issues. Sometimes it's day-to-day life. How do I manage everything? And sometimes it's major life stresses that happen in our world. And I've walked through many a storm. And just feel blessed to share with people the gift of being their number one ally. And whatever your age, teens need support too, parents need support, teachers need support, everyone needs guidance. And a number one ally, a health and wellness coach, is there to support you 100%, aligning with your values, your goals, what matters most to you, what your purpose in life is. So, and just help you to live your best life, your healthiest life. And that's what it's all about. I'm just grateful to be here by the grace of God.
And we had a chance to talk right before we came on, and we were talking about the importance of just having a coach walk alongside you. In today's world with so much information, I find the more information you have, the harder it is to sometimes make a decision in things because your brain's trying to process, you're overloaded, you've watched all these things. But having an expert just walk alongside you and break it down, really break it down, just simplify. And it's not almost like permission, like it's okay. Let's just step forward into this and get going. And just having somebody walk alongside you, it's really empowering.
It really is.
And no matter what it is, if you're looking at wellness coaching or business coaching or life coaching, or how many of us, step into even marriage? I know marriage coaching, not necessarily therapy, but coaching to get things going. There's just so many ways, parent coaching, there's so many ways that we can come alongside and get help now. And when we were talking last time, we were talking about the importance of just sleep, just getting great sleep. I find, I'm sure like so many parents out there, everything is just your routines are off. School is off most of the time now. At this point of the school year, most school people have wrapped up their school year and now they're transitioning to summer, but it feels very much like before. And now we don't have the structure of the classes. At least we had some classes and now that's gone. And it's more of we don't have camps as much. And there's this, depending on where you're living, there's this very long days, not tons of structure. And then by nighttime, it's making the sleep patterns harder and harder because you're really kind of out of rhythm. You're out a little bit more out of rhythm, out of the normal structure. Even in the summers, even if you were just a parent who's home with the summers, you could normally go to different parks or go to the pools during the day, or you even had your routine set up. Right now, it's just, we're here a little longer. And it's making that a challenge to getting kids to bed on time and up on time. And I know even in our own house, we have absolutely transitioned ourselves to being later night people and getting up later because it suits our family needs better. We're still getting the same sleep, but we just transitioned it because it's just easier right now in our rhythm. But it does make it harder when you have to get up in the mornings for certain things. But why don't we let you kind of dive deep into just kind of helping parents right now, like if they're really struggling with with just their sleep pattern and their own health wellness, because the stress of so much and the worry of bills and businesses, and you look around at our world and there's so much turmoil and so much going on, just being able to shut it off to sleep. So why don't I just let you empower us, share us all the knowledge. I am all ears.
So the evidence, the research evidence out there, sleep really is the foundation of our health and well-being. And when we don't have sufficient sleep, whether quality, which includes quality and quantity, our whole body goes into stress mode, into fight, flight, or freeze mode. Yeah. Instead, so sleep is a time of restoration and healing for every system in your body. And it's really your circadian rhythm, which is deep within your brain. It's SCN is the abbreviation, but the suprachiasmatic nucleus is your circadian rhythm, and that is the foundation of your entire body. It's so precious, and the number one, and it regulates every organ, every gland, every cell in your body. It regulates, your metabolic rate. It regulates sleep-wake cycles, hunger, your hunger, and it regulates urine production. I mean, just everything. So you want to really honor your circadian rhythm, and we're all born with different rhythms. Some people are night owls, some people are morning people, some people are in the middle, and we've kind of in our society we have this prejudice against the people that are night owls because they sleep in later. But if that's truly your circadian rhythm, like most of the people are in the middle, with their circadian rhythm. But if you're on the morning owl or the night owl, the early bird or the night owl circadian rhythm, the night owls really, there's a great prejudice against them, but it is important to honor them because they're the only ones really that can do night shift work well and not affect their health.
I never thought about that in a way of prejudice, but I think I absolutely see that now that you've said it like out loud, and I'm wrapping my brain around. I'm like, oh my gosh, look at all our kids that we expect to be up at 8 or traditionally up at 6 or 7:30 in classes, and their brains are going. And when we started homeschooling, because I was like, we have to do it at this time. Now my son, most of his classes are late at night. Like he is laser focused 9 to 11 or 12, like laser focused. If I want a project done, do not ask at 9 in the morning. I mean, he can bust out his most creative writing, creative work, content. He's night and he could go till 2, 3 in the morning. He's like, you. But for me, I'm like, you have to do it this way. And once I took that off, but now that you're saying it out loud, I'm like, oh my gosh, I totally see those prejudices as to how a 9 to 5 or our expectations of when work should be. I think we're probably getting a little bit better as people are not all in a 9 to 5, but my gosh, you're so right. I never clicked in that.
Right. And Dr. Matthew Walker,
Alicia, by the way, guys, has an entire library. I've got a list here already started from this morning. So if you want all the great stuff, she's going to keep pulling them out for us because I'm like making my list over here as we go. Okay, so show me this one.
So, and these resources are on my website as well, and I provided the links in there. But
fantastic.
Why We Sleep is Dr. Matthew Walker. Can you guys see him?
Oh, yeah.
He reviewed. He's a researcher, a sleep researcher himself. He's worked with Nike and Google, those companies, on incorporating, honoring people's need for sleep as well as reducing stress in the workplace. But he's done hundreds of research studies himself, and then he reviewed over 17,000 research studies on sleep for this book. Phenomenal book. It talks about education, how sleep is a universal healthcare provider, but it's the foundation too of our learning and processing information. When we don't get our sleep, we're in that fight, flight, or freeze mode, but we also, our amygdala and our deep in our brain is becomes hypersensitive. So that's your anger, fear, and anxiety. When you don't get your sleep, that is like putting the gas pedal on your amygdala. Everything you're going to react to, and when and then on top of that, when you don't get sufficient sleep, and this is for children too, the frontal lobe shuts down. So that's your executive functioning, that's your problem solving, your brainstorming, creativity, your judgment, decision making, that gets shut down. So your prefrontal cortex shut down, your amygdala, you're reacting fear, anxiety out of everything. So one simple thing you can do for your health, and we'll get into that more, and for just everyone's well-being and to function optimally, emotionally, intellectually, physically, is to get your sleep. And one of the things that's highly recommended is to be in the sunlight at the beginning of the day, at least 15 minutes. More if you can, but as soon as you wake up, within 15 minutes of waking up, get out and be outside for 15 or 30 minutes. And then if you can, again, in the evening, be out, because our circadian rhythms aren't a perfect 24-hour balance. So our circadian rhythm gets reset every time we, our eyes are projected, the sun rays touch our eyes.
So is this sort of the, where it comes from, like, our grandparents and our parents would always say, get your cup of coffee and go outside. Like that really seems to be, as so many, or I see people's, and it's actually part of my routine, you get it and go outside and just be as much as you can in that time. For me, it's time with God or quiet time, or, just outside when you can. I wonder if that's just sort of a natural part of just how we're sort of wired. But I remember growing up as a kid, and my grandma, that being the first thing was getting a cup of coffee or getting a drink, being outside for the first part of the day and ending the day that way too. And it's so interesting. I wonder how much of that is wired in us, or passed down in generations, right? Just passed down as ways that we should be healthier.
Well, the research shows, and that's how we survived, by following the signals. And those night owls that we have a prejudice against, in ancient cultures, they were the ones who stood guard for your tribe or your small community. So there's a purpose for everyone in society, and we need to honor each person's circadian rhythm. But that being said, the sleep researchers recommend a consistent wake up and sleep time as much as you can, even on weekends, because that keeps our circadian rhythm and the functioning of all our hormones, our glands, our organs. It keeps everything in rhythm.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So what do we do right now? Let's just get real with, I've had so many moms in the last 90 days saying, I lay down at night and I can't sleep. I'm so worried about our finances. I'm worried if we'll have a home to live in. I'm worried my kids, special needs moms, they don't have the services for their kids. They're burned out, completely burned out. The families are just in turmoil. They're home, but there's a lot of just worry and anxiety. What are things that parents can do, moms can do, or helping their children? There's so much fear and anxiety. I know I've shared with you before, my son, I never slept. I think we talked about this last time on the show. I did not sleep. My son's was 11 when we got his service dog. He woke me up at 1, 5 for 10 years. Every night, it was awful. I never slept. When we got his service dog, can weight blanket him, cover him back. Maybe I wake up 4 or 5 times a year now. In a year, he's woken me up, and it's normally a tummy ache or something. You have no idea. I'm like a whole new woman. You probably know. I'm like a whole new woman out here. That dog can stay just because I sleep. Like, I don't care what else he does outside of this house. Like, my sleep's back. But what do you do when you're, two things, I guess, a mom like that with a special needs child who your sleep is just constantly disrupted. And right now, I know from working in the special needs community so long, much of that support and extra support that we've had for respite care is gone. And that burden falls on the parents. So you have those stresses of just that almost caring for somebody during long chronic pieces with no respite. And then how can parents, were there tips or things they can do to really help turn it off besides turning to sleep aids and medications to just
Right.
like literally somebody throw me some NyQuil, we got to go to bed in here. Like, I mean, seriously, that's just a reality. So what are some ideas? What are some thoughts there?
And you bring up a great point, because animals are very relaxing to our nervous systems, and they feel our energy and we feel theirs, and they can help bring us into that state of relaxation and coherence with our heart and our brain, so that we can relax. And what a great thing to bring a part of a bedtime routine. And so bedtime routines are so crucial, and they may have gone by the wayside, which they sometimes, when we're all overwhelmed and under so much stress, the bedtime routines tend to fall by the wayside, I know, as a parent. But it's so important to keep those bedtime routines, and like whether it's having a dog with your child, and adults need bedtime routines too. We seem to think we grow up, and that's a big issue with college students as well. We don't have to have a bedtime. Well, actually, and no bedtime routine. So a bedtime routine teaches your body it's time to sleep. I do these specific things before I go to bed, and it's incorporating things like your son, that having the service dog with him was very relaxing. But there are a lot of different things. Everyone's going to be unique, that you can do in your evening, whether it's painting, drawing, reading, a bath, a warm bath, not too hot, not too cold, to help bring the body temperature down for a better night's sleep. Candlelight at dinner, lowering the light and getting rid of TV, computer stimulation at night, because that blue light really affects your circadian rhythm, and it's a severe problem for people's health, and part of the reason why we have trouble falling asleep, like you're saying, in addition to the stresses on our mind. And there's lots of relaxation techniques you can incorporate into your evening, like the belly breathing we did last time, where you breathe diaphragmatically, and you can do that. And a lot of people feel like they have to do it by themselves, but you can set a routine and do it with your children, and you can change it up at different times. But you can have a guided visualization on, they just changed it. It was Stop, Breathe, and Think, and I think they just changed it to My Life, the name of the app. But it has children's and adults guided relaxation, breathing, visualizations. And one thing, and you can have a routine with your child, and then you can have your routine after your child's in bed. And I know we all get interrupted, right? Because a lot of times they hop out of bed. But finding what works for you and being consistent, that order is how your body knows it's time to go to sleep. One really great way is to put like a beloved animal on their tummies, and everybody lays down together, and you just start belly breathing, and they put their favorite stuffed animal or maybe a favorite book on their tummies, and you breathe nice with your belly, and then they give their stuffed animal or their book like a very slow, calm roller coaster ride with their belly breathing.
Okay.
But another thing, nature is so soothing and healing. One thing I did with my kids during the summer months is we would go out and look at the night sky and the stars. And I still do that myself, and my daughter still does that. Looking at the sky before bed, that awe and wonder of nature and the beauty and the gifts, and just, let everything go. And it just reminds you what's most important in life. It's a great reminder.
It's funny you say that. We actually did that as a family last night. As I told you, we've just had some long days working here, and I needed some time to reconnect with my son, and we got the flashlight. It was a hot night, and he loves looking for frogs. I hate going frog hunting at night, because we run into snakes, and I am terrified of snakes. If anybody's been around here, I am terrified of snakes, but they're out eating, and so whatever. So we're out, and finally I got him to turn off the lights and just stare at the stars and just be in awe, just in awe of the beauty and wonder of God's creation. And it doesn't take long, just that few-minute connection. You come back just, everybody was kind of, it was just one of those days. It was just intense. It was just intense. Everybody's just no reason at all, just a little more. So we took lots of extra long walks yesterday, lots of extra breaks. And at night went out and looked at the stars and the wonders while we were catching frogs. So to all my neighbors with the spotlight going up and down the street at 10 o'clock at night, there you go. You're welcome.
Even watching fireflies, and running, trying to catch the fireflies, all those things in the evening. And, essential oils can be very helpful, like lavender.
Do you have some you recommend? Lavender, okay.
But always choose organic essential oils. Never buy the cheaper. That's being absorbed into your respiratory system and your skin. Very important to use organic and to understand the company's process.
Does it matter as much when you put them in the diffusers, the water things?
Yes.
As when you're putting them on it? It's the same thing, same process. Because then you're inhaling it.
Yeah. And actually,
I've started growing my own like lavender in the back and doing it myself because I got to the point I was feeling very overwhelmed by the whole process. I'm like, let's just grow it and do it ourselves. I don't know.
And you can.
Peppermint.
If you have fragrance that's very healing, even if it's not lavender, you can cut the flowers and put them in your child's room, because it does really bring that relaxation. That fragrance are very powerful for relaxing the brain and body. And then teas, there are herbal teas. And then there are some natural things. I have some functional, I'm not a functional medicine doctor, I'm a functional medicine health and wellness coach and national board certified, but there are different supplements you can take that are not drugs. They're supplements, but it's best to talk with your doctor about those, like L-theanine and GABA and melatonin. But the best thing is to create that bedtime routine of relaxation and figure out what relaxes you the most in the evening. And it takes time. You'll try things. Well, this didn't work. You tweak it and figure out what works. Because learning is a spiral, right? It's never perfect the first time we try something. And then really pay close attention to your child and what relaxes and nurtures them. Even a candlelight, the sound of waves or crickets or a creek babbling, or maybe it's just plain white noise with a fan. All those things. It's just you really want to pay close attention to don't think that what relaxes you relaxes your child.
My son loves we let him listen to campfire at night, and he loves the sound of campfire, and it drives me nuts. Like, I don't mind the rain or whatever, but there's something about that crackle and popping, and I just feel like the house is on fire. Like, I don't want to listen to that. I'm like I got to get up and check something. Like, did somebody turn off the stove? But for him, it's just super relaxing. It brings back joy of being outside and campfires and camp and what that's like. And for me, if I had to sleep in there, I'd never sleep. I literally feel like something's burning around me. It's just personal preference. For me, I put on the rain, and for him, he feels like he's drowning. So, personal preference, right? We got our own stuff going on. So
we do.
You're right. Don't assume your piece is your kid's piece.
Right. And honor that. And when you honor what resonates with them and what's best for them, they learn to honor that for themselves. And they don't look for others to find their answers. They learn to look within to find what's best for them, and which is so important. When you go off to college, you want them to look within their heart and soul for their answers, not for other people telling them what to do.
Yeah. So while we have a few more minutes left, I know today, on top of sleeping, you wanted to cover some support and help for moms and parents and really connecting them. So I just love to give you some time to be able to do that. I know you had a lot on your heart. You felt you wanted to share in that. And as we have a little more time left, I think we've given parents hopefully some good ideas on sleep and getting connected. But
yeah, and on my resource page, which the link is in the thing, there's a link you can click to see this, but there's also a picture. It's sleep duration recommendations for all ages, from infant to, elderly. So it gives the recommended amount of time needed for sleep for the different age groups, which is really crucial to listen to. They found 3-year-olds, like the sleep for 3 to 5-year-olds is 10 to 13 hours a night. There's leeway because each child, each individual is unique in their sleep needs, and it will vary with illness or stress. They may need more, but studies have come out showing the children at 3 that are getting 10 and a half hours or less of sleep per night have a 45% greater risk of being obese at age 7. That's how much sleep affects our health. And I could go into lots of stats, but type 2 diabetes, cancer, and with our immune system, before we talk about the other, one night of not adequate sleep, I believe in the studies it was 6 hours or less, but destroys your natural killer cells in your body. It shuts them down. They're not functioning, which is part of your immune system. So sleep is just so vital on so many levels.
And guys, what Alicia was just talking about, if you saw me looking a little distracted, I was trying to figure out where I put the resource on here. And so, you know me and my tech problems, guys. Right below, right on the links below, you're going to see, you can click right on that and it's going to take you right to her resource. It'll take you right to Alicia's page, but it'll take you just specifically to what she shared. So I just put the link in that she provided, and so it's right below, guys. Okay. So it's on her website, but the direct link is below. So I want to make sure you guys have that so you can follow along. For those of you on YouTube, because I know we're streaming out on YouTube live right now, that's why I put the picture up so you can see it and click over, because I can't hop out of the system to hop over. One day I'm going to get a streaming system that lets it all go out everywhere. That's going to happen. So tech people, help me out here. So Struggles to Triumph, when you go in, she has a resource guide for you on this. So there you go.
And in my resources, I have a book list and documentaries list and movies list of different resources I've used over the years that have been very helpful on all topics, parenting, all the different health topics. So
that's fantastic. So you guys got that. So anyway, now that we've got them caught up on all our resource guides and Candice figured out where she put the links.
So a topic came up last time, what happens when, you're struggling to handle your emotions with your child's behavior, and it's creating a lot of emotional distress for you and your child. And one key thing that is very important, and I learned this through my own struggles with parenting and reading books. One really great one is How to Really Love Your Child, written by a psychiatrist. Phenomenal book. He brings spirituality into this, but he really cuts to the chase of the foundation of our relationships with our children. And one of the keys is, your child's behavior is not your child. And it's important for your child to understand that you love them and that their emotional tank, you always do your best to fill their emotional tank so they feel fully loved unconditionally, no matter what. Their behavior may not be okay, their choice wasn't okay, but it's crucial for them to understand that you absolutely love and adore them. It's the behavior that's the issue and that needs to be worked on. And he's really keen on that. And that when your child is whatever age, he also has one for teens he wrote, but this is for all ages. And when your child is acting out, he says the first question, and I found this very helpful for myself because I was on my own. I was married, but I was on my own raising my children 24/7. Did everything, and my family wasn't around. So you're struggling, and I turned to books that were recommended to me by others, by doctors, and it was so beneficial. One question to ask yourself when your child is misbehaving, whatever age, What have their physical needs been met and their emotional needs? Have they had one-on-one time with you where they have your undivided full attention? Did they get adequate sleep? Are they hungry? Are they overstimulated? Are they a child that too much has been going on in their days and too much in the moment? If any of those things are awry, it is not a good time to come down on your child, or to set limits. They are in that fight or flight stress stage. Their heart and brain's not in coherence. The important thing to do in that moment, is to be with them alone, help them calm down, or sit and talk with them, and just help them to breathe, find their center, whether that's with a prayer or just belly breathing, or maybe it's just going outside and sitting and looking at flowers, listening to water, going to the park, whatever you can do. Sometimes you're at a party and this happens and you find a quiet space to go with your child and just be with them. And maybe they just needed some time with you. Maybe they just need to be held, but and he said, if you're not filling up their emotional tank, because they're not here to, and he also says, when we find that anger, which I found very helpful, when we find that place of anger and frustration, a lot of times it's a message to us that we need to do our work. We haven't done our work in a certain area of our life, and it's their behavior is digging up something within us, and we really need to find a way to stay the 3 C's: calm, cool, and collected, and be loving, but also be, this behavior is not okay, and we need to deal with that when we're calm, and we get you food, or let's go take our nap, or whatever we need to do. Maybe you haven't had enough alone time. Maybe you need to go, if you're a teen, to have some alone time, doing something that nurtures your soul, their soul. Those were really beneficial to me. And I think it's also important to have what I did in the foyer of the house, which we always had to go by when we came up or down the stairs or in the front door. I think writing your mission, like your purpose, what is most important to you as a parent to raise your child with. For me, it was raising them knowing that they were loved unconditionally, no matter what. Like all their feelings were accepted, honored, and acknowledged, because we can't let them go until they are honored, and when we talk about them and express them. And that I wanted them to always know, no matter what, they could come to me, no matter what they did. It could be the worst thing they think in the world, that they know my love is so strong, they could come to me and tell me, and I will help them no matter what. If you're at a party you weren't supposed to be at, you can call me. I will come and get you. I love you unconditionally. You find yourself in a situation that's not safe. And I think, so having your mission somewhere where it reminds you in those tough moments when our patience is challenged, and that's a time too where we really need to go and do our diaphragmatic breathing with nature sounds, or go for a walk. We need to be in a place of coherence where our heart and brain are functioning optimally, in that calm place, so that we can handle the situation the best. Because all these struggles are also gifts to learn more about ourselves and our children, and for all of us to grow and help each other.
Yeah.
So
I think that's really valuable advice. And right now, guys, what I took away so much in that conversation was the kids are frustrated. Everybody, everyone, are you well rested? You've been fed well? Are you having your basic needs met? So much anger is boiling up from marriages, from frustration, from kids and work. We're in a place of a lot of turmoil and angst. And have you met your basic needs before you deal with the next? I think is a big takeaway here. Sometimes we just need a pause and a nap.
Yeah, and keep joy in your daily life, whether it's blowing bubbles. I mean, everybody loves bubbles, even teenagers, even though they may say they don't. Keep bubbles on hand, playing tag, food. Making meals can seem stressful right now. Everyone's making meals all the time. Let your kids be in charge of making a salad, or a fruit salad, or a veggie salad, or let them do whatever they want, whatever it looks like, whatever it tastes like. It's all good. If they don't like it, you can help them make it taste better. What can we do to make it better? You can Google and find ways to make turtles out of watermelons. I know my daughter did that. You can make dolphins with bananas and grapes. Let them have fun in the kitchen with you. It takes patience, but they're learning to nurture themselves with healthy food. And it'll be less work on you once you do have to let go of that. Things need to be perfect, but it's them learning how to cook for themselves, how to take care of themselves, and you're together. And you in the kitchen, getting your children, having fun in the kitchen is a great way for them to open their hearts. And one thing that there's a quote in one of these books that I read that I kept with me all these years. We must speak in ways that create bridges to our children's hearts so they feel safe enough to bring their hearts to us. And that's the bottom line. I coach so many people who don't feel worthy in this life, and it affects their health, their weight. It affects their, everything in their life. It affects their work, their family life, their relationships. So we really need to do that for our children and for each other, create bridges with our words. Even in those difficult times, which I know I've been there, takes a tremendous amount of strength to do that, but it is worth the journey.
I agree. I think that is a beautiful place to leave that right here. It's a beautiful summary of our conversation today. Alicia, it's always so great to be with you. It is. It's always so great, guys. I hope you have our resources below. I'm going to put them one more time right up here so you guys can take a look at it. For those of you who have not registered, I'm going to throw up Reimagine Education Conference, our information again. Tickets are on sale. We're going to start heavily marketing over the next couple of weeks, and we do expect to sell out of this event. So if it's something that you are, I know it's online, but guys, there is capacity in software. That's just the way it is. Just because it's on the internet doesn't mean there's so much bandwidth for 100,000 people. So please make sure you register early. Alicia is going to be one of our phenomenal speakers who is going to be talking and bringing hope and encouragement and really support to families and giving them resources to come alongside. So if you guys haven't, tickets are on sale there. I think they start at $10, and that's our early bird pricing. I think we're going to have over 100 talks. So it's really going to be setting you up for next year for success, and kind of looking forward to what is our 2020, 2021 year going to be like with our kids. If they can't go back, if they're going to be home, if it's going to be a hybrid plan, we're here to walk you through all of that. And the biggest parts are going to be education, knowing the laws in your curriculum is 20% of the game. Everything else is going to be, how are we going to do it in balance? How are we going to keep our mind straight and our health and come out of this better? How are we going to find joy and passion and be able to work and do our businesses while we're dealing with all that? And so that's really what we're covering. So much more. Yes, we'll teach you the laws. Yes, we'll teach you the rules. Yes, we will teach you how to get that perfect curriculum, or the one you think is going to be perfect for your family. The perfect curriculum is the one you're going to use. If you want the answer to that, there's 1,000. It's going to be the one you're actually going to do. But we're going to help you do all of that. But that's still, guys, at the end of the day, that's a small portion. How are we going to keep your kids safe online? How are we going to help you walk through when problems arise and you're dealing with online safety security issues? How are you going to deal with that? How are you dealing with the screen times and the angst? And how are you going to deal with finding joy when there's no camps, or if things are closed down again, or a second wave? How are you going to have these hard conversations with kids? How are we going to talk to our high schoolers who might not be having that season and they're waiting for the scholarship for the college and those things? All of these conversations are coming forward in front. And so we just invite you into a place with lots of support and great people like Alicia and our speakers to help you. So tickets are up, but don't wait on that. Seriously, like a lot of people say that, but we are struggling to get more capacity issues, but that's going to be something we're all kind of working through right now. So let me see if there are any other, I was see if we had any other questions, but we just have lots of enjoyed this. It's been wonderful, lots of feedback. So great shout outs, Alicia, for being able to have all kinds of goodies. I was going to see if we had more questions, but till next time, guys. And also, if you enjoyed what you heard today, Alicia has another great workshop that she's done with us that's already up. So you can just Google that and get more great resources from her today that are already up here on Facebook and on YouTube with our team. So till tomorrow, we're actually going to be talking books, and more books. We're going to be learning about buying used books online and used curriculums, and how can you do it not to pay a fortune, right? Because it can get expensive. So we're going to be talking about shortcuts and saving some money tomorrow. Okay.
Thank you so much. So grateful to be here, and for everyone listening.
It's always a joy. Bye-bye.
Bye.